All right, we were talking with the insiders earlier. Casey brought up the fact that Juwan Jennings was back at practice yesterday as the San Francisco 49ers prepare for their week one football game coming up on Sunday. Of course, Eagles, Cowboys, Thursday. And you can get that here on ESPN 1320. We'll have that game live for you. But Juwan Jennings back at practice, missed a month and some change.
Sounds about right. Yep.
How does that change the wide receiver room? Assuming this isn't he's back, he's going to be ready to play Sunday. How does that change some of the conversations we've had over the last 4 to 6 weeks?
Just calms down all the talk about that wide receiver room. I think Jawan Jennings getting into the fold makes it just a good solid wide receiver unit. You know what I mean? You've got Jawan wherever you want him, 1, 2. I'm not wherever you feel he should be, but him and Pearsall, my boy Slick Rick, as the starting wide receivers. Um, you're gonna have to figure something out until Demarcus Robinson is finished with his suspension. So get through those first
3 weeks,
games,
right?
Yep. Get through those first 3 games, and when he comes back, he's going to be your for sure number 3 wide receiver. And you combine that with McCaffrey coming out of the backfield. You combine that with George Kittle, and the pass catching of the 49ers, I think is perfectly fine. It's not elite. It's not top tier. I don't put it there as of yet. I got to see, those guys step up. Juwan Jennings was almost a 1,000-yard receiver last year. My boy Slick Rick, Ricky Pearsall, he, I think, has capability of being that type of receiver. But we have to see them both perform at the same time at that level to say it's anything other than just an all right wide receiver room. Right now, that's what it is. They want to be looked at as top tier. They're going to have to perform at a high level this year to get that type of respect. But it balances everything out with that offense. Gives Brock some reliable targets that he's used to. And I think it just calms things down. And then, I'm not expecting much, but see what happens when Brandon Ayuk comes back this year, what he's got left in the tank.
And I think I think 49ers fans, coaches, and teammates would be better off leaving Brandon Ayuk completely out of the equation.
I agree. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and anything you get post week 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, if anything you get from Brandon Ayuk at any point in the season is a bonus that you were not expecting, a bonus that you were not planning for, and in the case, like a bonus you weren't even thinking about. Right. You're focused on those players that you just referenced, and you mentioned 2 names. Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle. Which one of them is more important to the 49ers passing game?
Probably Christian McCaffrey. I mean, almost any offensive question that you ask about who's more important, I think is going to go to CMC. Sure. He's the straw that stirs the drink in the running game.
Shout out Fred Warner.
Yeah, the offensive straw that stirs the drink in the running game and in the passing game with his ability to step out, and be a slot receiver potentially. If he gives you that type of capabilities while putting Robinson in the backfield, not only can you just hold it down until you get DeMarcus Robinson back, you could flourish. And now, depending on how Kyle Shanahan has adjusted his offensive philosophy, maybe a little less Kyle Juszczyk and maybe a little bit more 4 receiver sets. You could have a formation with Pearsall, Jennings out wide, McCaffrey in the slot, Kittle going out for a pass, with Brian Robinson in the backfield. That's pretty explosive. But it all hinges. I don't want to say if you take Kittle out, that's because that does a lot of damage too. But if you don't have McCaffrey there, now you don't have the slot guy, you don't have a threat, you don't have. It's just he's the straw that stirs the drink.
But if the offensive line struggles at any point, does that shift to George Kittle instead?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that George Kittle is often schemed as and referenced as a blocker and arguably one of the best blocking tight ends. I mean, he's one of the best tight ends, period, in the league. When it comes to blocking, he's exceptional at that. Right. But a lot of times those blocks can create those blocks turn into rollouts and a scrambling, in this case, Brock Purdy can find him a yard from the line of scrimmage and hope that turns into something else. Right. So hopefully this is a situation that no 49er fan wants to deal with, but I'm trying to figure out scenarios where the passing game can be a threat on multiple different levels. And we've troubleshooted a wide receiver room without Juwan Jennings. Now we're troubleshooting a wide receiver room with Juwan Jennings, and the Robinson suspension for 3 weeks. And now I'm working through, okay, all right, let's work through a bad offensive line scenario. Because to me, so much of this, like if Christian McCaffrey is on the field, this is a good football team. With the schedule that they have, and I don't mean this to be demeaning to the 49ers or to their schedule, but with the schedule that they have with Christian McCaffrey on the football field, I think they're a really, really good football team. And this is where, to me, you start talking about 13 to 13 plus wins. And I'm trying to work through scenarios where I'm wrong. And it's like, nah, here's where they're going to struggle. Here's where they're going to struggle. But it feels like they have, outside of underperforming, it feels like they have like little safety nets. George Kittle being one for a bad offensive line. I guess Christian McCaffrey to a certain degree being one for a bad offensive line too. Juwan Jennings coming back and helping that wide receiver room. Like it feels like there's a couple of different safety nets, barring, injuries, of course, that can make up for maybe a slow start to a position group or maybe something not clicking immediately.
They do.
Which speaks to how talented all of those guys are that we just referenced, mainly Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle.
Yeah. I think this 49ers team is kind of flying under the radar a little bit. I think nationally, a lot of people look at the names that aren't there anymore and the names that they moved on from this offseason, and they've lost so much. And we've talked about it here on the show a number of different times. Outside of Dre Greenlaw, maybe it was time for all those guys to go. All those guys' production had slipped to the point where it was time to move on. Whether you're talking about Debo, talking about Hufanga, Jordan Mason didn't. Like, he was really, really good. But in that offense, he also posed a problem with not being able to catch the ball out of the backfield. So I think this team's flying under the radar. And I think Christian McCaffrey, I believe he's got one more like true all-pro type season left. He was an MVP candidate 2 years ago. I'm not going to say he's going to get to that level because that'd be a hell of a prediction. Like I'm just not going to, much like a smaller version of how I feel about Brandon Ayuk, like just him being out there is just fine enough. I don't have any expectations for him. I'm not going to sit up here and say, yeah, Christian McCaffrey's healthy, so he's going to be MVP. I'll just leave. You talk about leaving a little bit of a cushion in the safety net. I'm just going to say him being out there, he'll be good. But I do think he has a Pro Bowl, all-pro season left in him, one more. And I think this year, hell permitting, could be that year. And if he has that, it just changes everything. Like Christian McCaffrey has always changed everything about the 49ers. They were a Super Bowl type team before. They were a contender, fringe contender before he got there. When he got to the 49ers, man, that changed everything. It is perfect for Kyle Shanahan, perfect for his offensive scheme. And him being there absolutely elevates that entire team. I'll never forget that first game he played, or I guess it was the second game, first game with the practice, that Rams game where he had the receiving touchdown, the passing touchdown, and the rushing touchdown. It automatically just looked different with Christian McCaffrey out there. And if he's healthy, I think that's the X factor with getting this team back to that championship level. Even a little bit more than George Kittle.
This sounds crazy. Or maybe not crazy, maybe just stupid. Is it that simple?
Christian being there and being healthy?
Yeah.
I think so.
I kind of feel like it is.
Mm.
But, well.
What if Pearsall, though, isn't Deebo Samuel and Jennings isn't Brandon Ayuk, too, though? Like, you still need those guys to perform.
True. I mean, those guys.
Juwan Jennings missed the training camp. I mean, like, what if he starts off the season slow? What if Pearsall? We don't even know who Ricky Pearsall is.
Yeah, we don't know. I think Pearsall is a really good wide receiver, though. I'm not gonna say he's all pro or pro bowler just yet, because we still got to see him be able to stick in there and being there for an entire season and produce. But I think he's a really good wide receiver. Juwan Jennings, almost 1,000 yards last year. Would have had it if he didn't get ejected in that final game of the season. And he's shown that's about who he is. Last year, he was just given the opportunity. So I think we know what we got with those two guys. I think so. Ricky Pearsall is a little bit of a question mark, but I think we know what we got with those guys. Brandon Ayuk was a true all-pro. So I don't think either one of those guys will be as good as Ayuk was.
And like Deebo was one of the best playmakers in the league.
He was starting to fade, though.
Yeah, how long ago was Deebo one of the best playmakers?
Well, I mean, just at that, like, just when everything was humming with CMC and stuff like that. Like last year, he was not great. We all acknowledge that, but
and neither were they.
I think to say that if CMC is right, then not that's all they need, but just everything's gonna fall into place. I think there's question marks at the other spots where it's like you still need them to step up.
Let's see, we're talking 2023. Yeah, 2023 is when CMC was MVP candidate. Deebo was really good, 60 catches, 892 yards. I think Jennings or Pearsall can give you that. If one, because Brandon Ayuk was 1,000 yard, 1,300 yard receiver, he was fantastic that year. If one of those two can give you an 1,000 yard season, George Kittle gives you another 1,000 yard season, you need one of them to give you almost 900, which is what Deebo gave the 49ers that year. I think they can. I think Pearsall or Jennings can give you that.
Do we know Deebo's rushing and touchdown numbers there too, though?
What was his rushing that year? He ran for 225 yards, 6 yards a carry. He had 5 touchdowns on the ground. He was good that season. He was good. You were starting to see signs. It wasn't like last year, but you were starting to see signs that he wasn't the same explosive player that he was. CMC 1459.
Is depth a concern though? Like if you lose, like I mean, I don't know that Juwan is going to be miraculously better. Like, can he play versus the Seahawks Sunday? I mean, terrific. But if you miss him, well, I guess this is where the suspension, Robinson's suspension, comes into play. Mm-hmm. But is that like where you're hinging the hopes of your depth right there?
They're pretty top heavy.
Because I'll say, like for those watching, I'll say Sky Moore's name, and your eyes will.
Sky Moore is nothing.
I don't I don't feel the same way about
Vince McMahon.
I don't feel the same way about about Sky Moore that Kyle does, but I'm not expecting him to be like a good ball player. Valdez Scantling,
it's
a little interesting to me.
Okay,
like as far as a backup, not a guy that can lead your wide receiver room. But I mean, we were talking about it on the handoff. I think that's true for pretty much every team in the league.
You lose depth, you're cooked.
I don't know. There aren't a lot of guys. Like I feel like the Lions might have some of that, but there's not a lot of teams where if you ask the guy who's your 4th wide receiver to be your 2nd wide receiver right now, that there's not going to be.
But if you have a definitive one, it might not be as big of an issue. I'm not saying that as a direct statement. I'm posing an argument. Like Juwan Jennings will be let's say Juwan is healthy and it's Pearsall that goes out. And then you have to, move your depth chart from there. Is that a problem? Like not having the definitive one and the definitive two. Sometimes those backups can be a little bit more easy to work in, but when it's a little shaky and you have guys trying to find spots, maybe it's a little bit more difficult when one guy goes out.
No, for sure. I completely understand that. But I look at like this is a bad example because they have what some think is the greatest quarterback in the game today and maybe end up being. But you look at the Chiefs, they got Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown as their starters. One of those two go down. Now you're looking at Juju Smith-Schuster. Possibly looking at Tyquan Thornton. Do we know who he is?
Yeah.
Give Rasheed Rice back in 6
and
weeks.
Mrs. Thornton's baby boy.
Jason Brownlee. No relation.
Mr. and Mrs. Brownlee's.
Nico Ramigo.
Come on now.
See, but the Chiefs
up.
can overcome that depth though with their defense and stuff like that. Their defense is strong to carry them, and you get Rasheed Rice back in 6 weeks.
But here's and inevitably the conversation was going to lead back to this. This is where Brock Purdy comes into play. This is where, what was the conversation 2 seasons ago? Josh Allen. Can you imagine if they got a wide receiver for Josh Allen? He was making guys. Tyreek leaves. Patrick's going to make somebody else. Like that's you've entered into a, whether fair or not, your contract has now put you in a different position where you've got to make Juwan Jennings a certified number 1 guy, or you got to make Pearsall a certified number 1 or a certified number 2 or whatever, or you've got to give a shot of adrenaline to George Kittle's Hall of Fame run. Like there's so much, like using the Chiefs as an example. So much of that rides on Patrick Mahomes. And this could ride on this, the 49ers' success this season could ride on Brock Purdy.
It rides on Brock Purdy, and I believe it rides on Kyle Shanahan as well. One of the things that I put trust in with Kyle Shanahan as your offensive coordinator or your head coach, whatever it is that he gets guys open. He schemes guys open. He gets them in positions where, especially when going up against a zone, any type of zone, he finds spots on the field that guys will be wide open on. Like I mentioned it last week, but we talked about the 49ers and the wide receiver room right now and not having a number 1. Last year, for the majority of the year, they didn't have a number 1. I think Kyle said they were second in yards gained. Brock threw for 3,800 yards. Like getting guys open. Juwan Jennings almost had a 1,000-yard season. Yeah. Getting guys open and getting them to produce wasn't the issue. It was the other things. It was the little things. It was the turnovers. It was blown leads, not being able to stop the run. That was the issue. So I feel the same way this year. Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, they're kind of married in this situation, but because Kyle is the offensive guru, Kyle's the offensive
death
guru.
do you part.
I expect them to find a way to get whoever's there open.
That's what we do. Man, that was a spirited way to start the show talking about Kawhi Leonard. Kyle told the story a few minutes ago. I absolutely thought when Pablo teased his podcast for today that I was hoping the end of this NFLPA stuff, which he has just been all over from jump. Was not expecting what we got this morning. You know what the funny thing to me will always be like, and this obviously is a 2021 thing, not a 2019, 18 when he signed with the
18.
Clippers.
No, 19.
Because what year did they win the title? So I was in Vegas for Summer League. And I've told the story before. I was told by someone Kawhi's getting traded to Toronto at some point this week. Like, oh, all right. Like, what are they waiting for? Nothing really. Like, to get back to the deal is done. He's getting traded. It's like, oh, yeah, he's going to sign with the Clippers next year. Like, really? Yeah, like he wants to be back home in LA. Why the Clippers? He doesn't want to play for the Lakers. And it just, knowing that, why did they feel they had to do this? Like, this is 3 years later, and Pablo does a great job of laying out, like, Kawhi is frugal. Kawhi had the story is he had a Wingstop endorsement. That's what he would eat, is Wingstop. He had coupons that allowed him Wingstop for as long as he had the endorsement or whatever. He misplaced the coupons, panicked, and his people had to call Wingstop and say, hey, Kawhi lost the coupons. Can he get more? This is a dude who was worth several $100 million at this point, but didn't want to pay for wings from Wingstop. And, so they're setting the tone of leading into that contract signing where he signed an essentially wealthy but still team-friendly deal. And, setting this, Kawhi Leonard does not walk away from $1. So to walk away from several, tens of millions of dollars is head-scratching. But it's also, didn't he want to be there all along?
I think
was this an extra,
you can make the argument that's why he wanted to be there.
So the first thing I wondered was, when did this start? Because why did he want to go to the Clippers? And I get the idea of not wanting to go to the Lakers. I understand that. But still, it is still kind of the Clippers. Like, this Chris Paul wasn't there. Like, this was done. So I always found that fascinating, and it does make me wonder, well, this is what they found, and this goes to the conversation we were having a minute ago. What didn't you find? Whether it pertained to Steve Ballmer, the Los Angeles Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, Jalen Brunson, James Dolan, or anyone, Domantas Sabonis and Vivek Ranadive. Like, what? Oh man, when did the wine company get created? Oh, we're gonna have to do some investigating. Like, the league, and this I think was your point a minute ago when you're talking about best for business. The league is open for such scrutiny right now because of this.
Yeah, and I'm not sure when all of this started. To me, I never really thought about it, but to me, yeah, this goes on often. This would make sense. Like, there's only so much you can pay in the salary cap. These guys and their franchises are worth billions of dollars. Yeah, I could throw you extra $50 million somehow, some way. I got you. And the thing, and help me out with this, the thing that makes me think this is normal practice is, you said this is the second time Uncle Dennis has been.
Yeah.
So yeah. I believe they didn't invent this. I believe Uncle Dennis and them, this is the way things go down. Let us get in on it. That's just my thought. I don't think Ballmer, I don't think the Clippers invented this type of workaround to acquire players.
I wholeheartedly agree.
So they were the ones that got caught.
It would be wild, though, if he's the one that gets caught. The richest one in league history is the one that gets caught.
Yeah, that
you've got it, but that's the thing, though. I don't know how much money Vivek Ranadive has. Vivek Ranadive is eating comfortably. He can have the private dining experience 7 days a week at Q if he wants to. He'll be just fine. He is poor when stacked up next to Steve Ballmer. A lot of the league is poor when stacked up with Steve Ballmer. And that's the level playing field thing that is going to be a huge topic of conversation over the course of the next couple of weeks in NBA circles. Now, whether this scatters out in the news and it trumps football over the course of the next few days, weeks, we'll see. But in the league, there is going to be a conversation about a level playing field. And if there's an idea that Steve Ballmer has highlighted how uneven this playing field could be, yeah, that's tough. That's tough for the league. That's tough for everybody.
This goes back to a discussion me and Jesse were having. I think you were gone and we were talking about baseball. And he was like, I don't know why you need a salary cap. Like, you need a floor, but you don't need a cap. I said, when you go up against these guys like Ballmer, you can't compete if there's not a cap. You can't compete. It doesn't, big market, small market, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no ceiling to what can be paid, who's the people who bought the Lakers?
Oh, I don't remember the name of the company, but they're, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
You can't compete.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have a cap. Even I use the example, like, even if John Fisher got a hair up his ass and wanted to start to spend money,
mm-hmm.
he can't compete with the Dodgers. He doesn't have that money. He doesn't have that
Right.
capital.
Mm-hmm.
So, to your point about worrying about this type of stuff in the NBA, yeah, you need. There is while there's a big part of me that's like, hey, this is just, the game is the game. If I was one of those owners, if I was Vivek, nah, Adam, you got to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're talking about limitless funds, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't compete with Ballmer. Hell, at this point, I probably can't even compete with Dolan, or I can't compete with the Lakers. I can't compete with Lakers. These guys have endless money. There's nothing I can do with that. So you better figure this out.
I don't even know what. It's always this.
Is it
according
Guggenheimer that was the Lakers?
I think that sounds right. Yeah. But that was a multi-billion-dollar. That's a company.
Right.
The company didn't buy the Lakers, but one of their main guys bought the Lakers. But to your point, if you have the backing of that guy's company,
right.
Dolan listed as $5.4 billion. I wonder if that's accurate, because every time I see the Sphere, it's like, that's got to be $5.4 billion by itself.
Isn't he losing money on the Sphere though?
Oh, I imagine he is. Like, I don't think anything is going well there. Like, I really want to go see the Wizard of Oz. As ridiculous as that, they got that at the Sphere.
Wow.
So I've been seeing videos on TikTok and all of this, and like, you know, it's an immersive experience where, like, when the tornado hits, they have like debris that goes around.
Okay.
When
it's a little too close to home.
When I think there are parts where it gets like cold in there, like they really try to make it an entire experience. But then I read people like they shortened the film, like they took out a bunch of the musical numbers. There's a ton of AI in it because it encompasses that whole wall. The thing is, they're trying to figure out ways to fill that place, and they haven't, outside of U2, they haven't found the one. Like, people went crazy for the Backstreet Boys, but the Backstreet Boys were there for like a little while. Kenny Chesney was doing a residency there. Kenny Chesney was, I don't know if he still is, but was once one of country music's biggest stars. Yeah, we looked at it because we checked in, and this girl goes, the lady checking people in is like, are you going to the concert? She's like, yeah. Like, oh, there's a walkway to it. And I look over, this girl got like a cowboy hat and the custom, you know, white girl at a country concert attire, like short. I was like, they're not going to the same concert we are. So we looked it up and we saw like Kenny Chesney was there, and you could get tickets for less than $100. They can't sell. They haven't had, outside of U2, the right act in there to sell. So that thing is just out there lighting up the Vegas night, losing money. But it's beautiful.
This looks dope.
And if this sends to James Dolan into the financial gutter, so be it. You built something beautiful. Sell the Knicks and keep it moving. You'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. But I think the term level playing field is going to be used a lot moving forward.
Yeah. They've got to do something I don't think, throwing the book at the Clippers is best for the NBA, but you got to do something. And like you mentioned earlier, you got to have a talk with Ballmer and be like, look, you can't just get away with this.
It's got to be severe enough to where it scares everyone else off, though, I feel.
So that's the other thing. You have the conversation with Steve Ballmer, like, look, we don't want to end your franchise, but this has to hurt.
Yeah, it's got to be severe enough to where, like I think I agree with you, Kenny. Like, you don't want to kill a team or anything like that, but it's got to be all right. Insert B. Owner B just doesn't want to do that.
So
again.
let's start with this. We're gonna eliminate the decade of the 2030s picks. Now let's work backwards. What can we do here? Maybe you lose a first-round pick every other year in the 2030s. Like, there has to be something that goes, whether it's Dolan, whether it's Vivek, whether it's Lakeup, whether it's Kroenke. Hey, check the books, burn the books, and end the books. Because this will that penalty won't destroy Steve Ballmer. That penalty will destroy us.
The first thing that I'm thinking of right now is you void Kawhi's contract and you make it.
Well, that's the Joe Smith thing, yeah.
Because, that'll
in a year with no buddy with cap.
Like, you're signing Kawhi on the minimum. They get handed another star.
Kawhi signed for the vet minimum.
At this point,
hey, it'd still be better than Golden State.
Yes, right. At this point, didn't he get all 28 million? Because that was the first contract. He signed a new contract since, right?
The 21, 4 years. This would be it. He's looking for the last 7. He's looking.
Like, all right, whatever. I already got 21 million. Release me as a free agent.
Can you imagine Kawhi Leonard? Okay, hold on, man. Listen. I don't know that we've ever done it.
Let's go.
I don't know that we've ever done it.
I'm ready.
Shout out to the Golden One Credit Union if you're listening, man. This one's on the house. This one's on the house right here. Kawhi Leonard. Where are we at? Oh, Kawhi Leonard, 14 years in the league. We're just going to go with the above board money for now.
Let's just do that. Let's just do that.
Kawhi Leonard, 14 years in the NBA. Former number 15 overall pick of the 2011 draft. 2011, number 15 overall. The most amount of money he has earned, to no surprise, how today's NBA works, was last year. $49.2 million Kawhi Leonard earned last year, above board, from the Los Angeles Clippers. He has 2 years remaining on his contract. We'll go with money to date.
And we're not counting the $28 million endorsement?
We are not counting any below under the table money, only above board from the National Basketball Association. Kawhi Leonard, 14 years in the NBA, former number 15 overall pick of the 2011 NBA draft, and he peaked last year at $49.2 million. As the contestants prepare their answers, many in the chatty house are getting involved.
I have no clue on this one, to be honest.
This is kind of tough.
Yeah, I have absolutely zero clue.
All right. The team says it's tough.
This is exhibition, too, by it's preseason. Season
With
starts,
Jesse.
starts tomorrow.
All right.
Well, season starts tomorrow?
Season. It starts with the NFL season. So be it. Final preseason game here.
I rested the starters.
That's fine. Not a lot of confidence from either of these two.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've got what's the Bradley?
This is a Logan Paul special here.
I got that Bradley
Jake Paul or
Bradley
whatever.
Campbell or whoever the third string quarterback is for the Niners. Yeah, I don't have
Carter Bradley, I think his name was. Yeah.
I don't have confidence in his performance.
Will you two dummies put your numbers on the screen?
Here's Nick Mullins for me.
We got $237 million from Kenny. We got $365 million.
The 200s feels low.
From Jesse Tapia, who even in exhibition form gets himself a victory.
Carter Bradley.
$325,772,011. Prior to today's news.
Coming back for another title. Repeat.
prior to today's news, Shams Charania just tweeted, NBA spokesman Mike Bass tells ESPN, we are aware of this morning's media report regarding the LA Clippers and are commencing an investigation. That
right.
from Shams Charania.
All right, Sean. That was not a Shams bomb. Please, next time you're going to get in trouble for that.
$325 million. Now, prior to this morning, and this could be the case no matter what, Kawhi Leonard was due $100.3 million from the Los Angeles Clippers, bringing his guaranteed total to $426 million and change.
Ooh.
By all outwards appearances, Uncle Dennis was chasing down $7 million. Do you hear me?
Gotta get it all.
Can you imagine losing $100 million because you're demanding a bankrupt company that is under investigation by the FBI to pay you the $7 million you're owed?
So you say Uncle Dennis, and I understand that, but it sounds like good old KL. If he worried about Wingstop coupons, he probably, hey, give me my $7 million. I know I've got $300 million. Give me $7. Come on, man.
Who was the other manager on the LLC?
I didn't see.
Uncle Dennis.
Oh yeah. He's part of it, but it seems like that's what they do. Give me every dollar.
There's also a belief this might not even have been Kawhi's money. Might have been Uncle Dennis's. And in that case, you really shouldn't have had Kawhi's name on it.
Yeah.
You could have called it Uncle Dennis LLC and no one would have cared.
Now let me ask you this. Because I just thought about this too. If Uncle Dennis takes the fall, it's not a legal thing, right? Like he can't go to jail.
No. This
Have
isn't.
Uncle Dennis take this fall, man. We ain't know.
This
nothing
isn't
about this. We didn't know nothing about this, man. This was all Uncle Dennis going rogue. I don't know nothing about this.
But Kawhi, your name is on the LLC.
I didn't know this is what he was doing. This is a cautionary
Kawhi,
tale to always make sure you're aware.
That's fraud,
of
then, isn't it?
Going on.
I'm sorry, Kawhi. Yeah, it's fraud. Now Uncle Dennis is going.
Yeah,
to
now
jail.
he's going to jail.
No. I yes, my name is on the LLC. I let Uncle Dennis manage stuff. If I would have known that this is what
Kawhi,
was going on.
Document says you're a manager of this LLC.
Yeah, because it's my company. Yeah, I take responsibility. It's my company. But the
Kawhi, you're going to jail at this point.
How you take a responsibility?
This is going terrible for you.
This is like Michael Scott in the episode was like, I want all the credit but none of the blame.
Go back to negotiating contracts with me or being Jerry Jones.
But no,
Kawhi started with a slap on the wrist. By the time Kenny's done, he's serving life in prison.
It's literally like, I didn't know my name was on here. But Kawhi, it says your name. Well, yeah. Well, then it's fraud. Well, no, it is my name. But the thing is,
now Kawhi and Uncle Dennis are going to the electric chair because Kenny can't.
I know this is my LLC, but as far as the inner workings, I let Uncle Dennis handle the inner workings of Aspire. I let him handle that, and from my knowledge, the Clippers have never questioned that. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Uncle Dennis.
Might I remind you,
he's
Kawhi,
the one that worked that deal out.
You do have the right to remain silent.
Yeah. Right now, we got Uncle Dennis at a life sentence.
I feel the need to remind you. Because right now, they're that cop from Menace to Society. You know you effed up, right? You know you effed up.
If Uncle Dennis is spearheading, if he's running KL2, and he said, yeah, $28 million from Aspire, $7 million a year. That was the deal that we worked on. I worked on with Aspire. That should be the end of it, right?
Well, what did you think your role with Aspire was, Mr. Leonard?
I wasn't sure.
Don't say anything.
I wasn't sure.
So are you generally in the business of signing a $28 million contract and not understanding what your responsibilities are? Mr. Leonard, before you answer that, may I ask, did you have a lawyer, a representative, or an agent negotiate your Los Angeles Clippers deal?
I did.
Your San Antonio deal in the past?
Yes.
Why didn't you have an attorney or a agent represent you with the Spire?
How do you know that's what happened? I didn't say that.
You're right. The paperwork says that you didn't.
Oh no. Damn. They
Damn, I
got
thought
it.
that was
They
on
got
the
us.
paperwork.
No, they got us.
Well,
And then, look,
we're 28 minutes into the show, and Kawhi Leonard and Uncle Dennis are going to jail forever.
look, the bottom line is, as long as it wasn't going, and this is what I would say, as long as it's not going from Clippers to KL2, we didn't do nothing wrong.
Well, it's not even the Clippers. It's Steve Ballmer.
Steve Ballmer.
Yeah.
If it's not going from Steve Ballmer to KL2, we didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah, Kawhi, I'd strongly advise you to not say that. Let your attorney say
I'm
it.
talking to you. I'm not on oath. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
You're my attorney.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll fight
I'm
for
talking
you.
to you.
No, just arrest him now.
Yeah, man. Kawhi.
He said everything we needed to hear.
We just asked him how he was doing, and he confessed.
Yeah,
to like
we didn't even
every-
offer him the McDonald's meal.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold
give
on.
me
I don't.
Power
Do we
Express.
got? Hey, let's go!
Hey.
Welcome back, baby.
This is apropos today. There's a lot of
Well.
Jamie St. Patrick stuff going on.
Yeah, there definitely are.
What was it?
Definitely is.
Queen's Children's Padre.
The Queen's show. Yeah. Hell, truth. Like it was all a front. I can't lie. This is not creative at all. I feel like I'm just playing the hits here in week one. Headed into the first game tomorrow, I give the Eagles their respect. I think I've given the Eagles a lot of respect, in not the sense that the defending champions, they deserve the number one spot on the power rankings, but I think they're going to be really good this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just an acknowledgement of what they did back in February. It's a acknowledgement of what I expect them to do as the season gets along. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on any of these. I got the Eagles. I got the Chiefs. All I did was really kind of haggle over the order a little bit. I got the Eagles at 1, and we'll go Kyle Madsen here, tier 1 by themselves. I got the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens. If you intertwine them in any different way, I'd be fine with it. But I went with the Chiefs at number 2 because I love Andy Reid. Bills, Ravens. I love Lamar Jackson. I'm trying to find like an angle that puts them over the top. And one that I believe you're going to hate is I put the Packers at 5. Probably too much. I really love the Micah trade. I like Jordan Love a little bit more than you do, though everything you've said about him, I'm not refuting it. Performances, none of that. Hype, none of it. But I like Jordan Love. I like the idea of the next evolution of Jordan Love. And I really like Michael Parsons, even if they have to stick a 12-inch needle in his back tomorrow to get him, or not tomorrow, but Sunday to get him to play. I love the long-term effect of that trade, and I think they're going to feel the positive vibes from it this year. So I'm starting with the Packers at 5.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that. Just because I don't agree doesn't mean I have a problem with it. Don't have a problem with it at all. Let's go back to the top. I'm with you. I got the Eagles there. Eagles at number 1. At number 2, I think this team is going to get over the hump this year. That's the Baltimore Ravens. I got the Ravens at 2. I got the Bills at 3. I got the Chiefs at 4. I think both the Ravens and the Bills are better than the Chiefs today.
Okay.
And the last one, I haggled with a little bit. I went back and forth between two teams, one of them not the Green Bay Packers. And I really went back and forth between the Vikings and the Lions. And I settled on the Vikings because I like O'Connell and Flores better than not even the actual coaches, but just the fact that a system change happened in Detroit.
You love JJ McCarthy?
I think I think you'll be fine with him as a rookie. If O'Connell is the offensive genius that a lot of people were saying he was last year,
Yeah.
he'll be fine with JJ McCarthy.
Okay.
He'll be fine. And that defense, I think the scheme that Flores comes with fits good with that personnel. And I'm going with the Vikings to start off at 5.
I am really, really on the fence with the Minnesota Vikings.
Understandable.
I wanted to take them out of the playoffs. I decided not to. But I was really close. So every year since 1990, at least 4 teams that made the playoffs the year before don't make them the next year. And it's been as many as 7. It's obviously, there's more playoff teams now. It just continues to evolve and change year after year after year. In 1990, I believe, is when the wild card format went into play. And obviously now there's like the super wild card, but still every year, at minimum, 4 new teams make the playoffs. This was difficult because you look at these teams and you go, well, they're all pretty good. And you have to project. You have to guess. And occasionally you have to get a little hot takey. I don't think I have anything too crazy here. I have the Steelers out. I'm a hater. I do not like that man. And I'm going to go so far as to say, because I don't like the way he handled this offseason, your boy is going under 500 for the first time in his career.
Wow, I haven't even said that.
Man, that's
Also
disrespectful.
DK Metcalf a little overrated as a number 1 wide receiver.
DK Metcalf is a physical specimen, and that's about it.
Yeah, he's not even like a perennial 1,000-yard receiver every year.
Mm-mm.
He's like off and on every other year.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it either. The Steelers.
DK, and I don't know if he's going to get it this time. I like to see him with like a real offense with a real top flight quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't think he's going to get that this year. So we may never see it his entire career.
2019, he was 900 yards his rookie year. 2020, 1,300. 2021, 967. 2022, 1048. 2023, 1,114. And then last year, 992. He's just always teetering.
Norm is absolutely right. I'm going to run a season of Prize Picks at Aaron Rodgers at the less. That's a great call right there. So I've got the Steelers out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say I don't love them. I actually really like this football team, but I'm a little on edge with the hype surrounding the Commanders.
Understandable.
It feels like it hinges so heavily on Jaden. Mm-hmm. And I mean, CJ Stroud's second year, it wasn't bad. It wasn't this big like step up from year 1. It was just like, oh, okay, he's figuring some things out. That was a 10-7 team, I think, last year that Houston was. This was a were they 13-4, 12-5? What the Commanders were?
12-5.
It's like, all right, they got a lot of good things going for them, including that division. And I thought about it even more. Or do they? Someone has to fall back, and I think it might be the Commanders. I think they'll be fighting for a playoff spot, but I'm going to take them out. And in a tradition that I just refuse to give up on, I'm taking the Chargers out of the playoffs. I don't care how much you people try to convince me the Chargers are great. I'm just going to die on this hill year after year.
Made it the last 2 years.
I don't care.
Just 1 year?
Yeah,
don't care.
I think, yeah.
Don't care. Get them out of here.
Chargers curse is real.
Got the Chargers out. That's only 3.
Yeah.
I needed one more. This was brutal. And I kept thinking about all off season. What have we talked about? I went through the AFC, went through the NFC, And I just kept staring at the same team over and over and over
We
again.
might have the same one right here.
I'm taking out the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, never mind.
I'm taking out the Los Angeles Rams because one of their worst attributes is their pass protection. Their quarterback is a broken back spinal. They have great pass catchers. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua,
Devontae Adams.
Devontae's there.
Yep.
Okay. Question for the room. Are we all in on Jimmy Garoppolo?
Never all in on Jimmy Garoppolo anymore.
Are we at all in on Jimmy Garoppolo? Talented football team. As close as humanly possible to mimic the San Francisco 49ers all the way down to the coach. If my or perhaps our assessment on Matt Stafford is accurate and he winds up missing games this year, can Jimmy Garoppolo do it? I decided the answer is no. And in a desperate search, and this is the hot takey moment. Well, the hot takey moment is on the way. I had to take them out. So the 4 teams that I have missing the playoffs that made the playoffs last year are the Steelers, the Chargers, the Rams, and I think of the 4, the one that hurt me the most was the Commanders. I do think the Commanders are competing all year for a playoff spot. They're not a 4-13. They're not like, oh, they just went bad.
Yeah.
They're competing. But I had to take someone out, and I went with them. I couldn't do Detroit. And I wonder if that's what Jesse's about to do, but I couldn't do Detroit.
Jesse, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I got Steelers, Chargers, and then the NFC. I went Vikings.
Oh, my boy. Hold on, man. He got the Chargers in there. Let's go, baby.
I went Vikings in the NFC, so that was my third team. I love the Vikings. I'm not gonna say JJ McCarthy.
It's the quarterback.
Playoffs yet.
Got you.
I was kind of wrestling with this one. Who cares? I'm just saying, I guess. I'm gonna go Detroit.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't love it. I
right.
could have went with the Bucks, but I figured for the
All
sake
right.
of content, I'm gonna go with Detroit. They went to the NFC Championship one year. Last year, they got waxed by the Commanders. I wonder, because I feel like I've been kind of fighting for them this offseason, but I wonder if the coordinator thing matters, and I wonder maybe not everyone gets back to health on that defense, and that's still an issue. I'm not saying they're gonna go like 9-8 or anything like that, but maybe you miss out on a 10-7 or something like that.
You know, when you talk about the Lions last year, you guys, and in a very fair way, like I understand it, they did have a lot of injuries on the defense. But I feel like they've been getting a little bit of a pass for the ass whooping they took in the playoffs because of those injuries. And the reason why I say it's a pass is they went 15-2. Aiden Hutchinson got hurt in week 6. There was something on the defense for them to win another. They lost a game in week 2. They lost a game in week 15. So Aiden Hutchinson goes down. You lose one of the next 10 games or whatever it is. You were good enough. You just got your ass beat. It wasn't solely because your defense was injured. You got your ass beat. Jared Goff threw, I think, 2 or 3 interceptions in that game. Like that was a beatdown. And what I did see is 2 of the times, not the only 2 times, but 2 of the times during that stretch, they played teams that could punish them for not having everybody healthy on the defensive end. They got blasted. That was the Bills and that was Washington. You're going to have health back, but I think the defense was a little suspect even the year before. Remember, that starting defense was there when they gave up 24 unanswered to the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. They've had a great pass rush, but the secondary has been their Achilles heel on that defense. And I don't know if it's just fixed because everybody's healthy, because the healthy people were giving up numbers too.
I got Green Bay winning that division right now too.
Well,
What?
Well, yeah, go. Come on.
What? Am I going to
Come on
fight
with
you
it.
all year again this season?
And here's Kenny's.
The 4 out that I have.
I've
got 3 here.
Nah, yeah, you.
I've got 3 here.
Yeah,
I got, but I'm gonna give you 4.
No. It's not that. It's one of them that bothers me. Hey, Zabo, it's trash. It's all right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I got you. The Steelers. I think that's unanimous here on D-Lo and Casey.
Well, we're all hoping for it.
Yeah.
Still, sorry, Mike. Steelers are out of here.
I guess we all got Mike Tomlin getting fired.
He's not going to get fired.
Then the second team, I got the Bucks in this one.
Boo!
I got the Bucks, and the reason why I have the Bucks is I think that's a 1-bid division, the NFC South. Only the champion gets in. I think Atlanta's going to be able to get it done.
Bucks 2 straight years as the division champion. Okay.
Bucks are out.
Disrespectful to my boy, but all right.
Number 3. It's not on here, but Damien, I was thinking the same things. I think the Rams are out. I think the Rams are out. And that's something kind of like how Jesse went back and forth and wrestled with the Lions. I'm kind of doing that with the Rams because I do like their defense. Young defense. That man verse is the truth. But I don't know if Stafford can stay upright all year long.
Yeah.
And
that's the only thing I'm worried about.
They got a first place schedule. It includes, games against the Eagles, against Baltimore, going to Baltimore, things of that nature.
Put those 2 things together. A first place schedule and games without Matt Stafford. Do not like it.
Yeah. Like, what if Stafford not out for the season, but what if the stretch where they've got to play the Niners at home, Baltimore at Baltimore, and Jacksonville at home, or actually that might be in London or something. They got to do that with Jimmy. Like, I wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
So I've got them out. The last team that I have out, this is controversial. And when you talk about a one-man wolf pack,
yeah, you are.
I'm the only man in America.
You're a hater.
That's true. Don't turn your back on the wolf.
It's the Green Bay Packers. I got the Green Bay Packers out.
Just say you think Jordan Love sucks.
I don't think Conan in a flannel with the red shirt underneath. That's Kenny right now.
I don't think he sucks, but I don't think he's as good as everybody else does, especially in these big time games. In the Packers schedule, it's not an easy one.
Yeah.
It's not an easy one. They've got some big time games. And here's the other thing that I looked at. In the conference, in the last 2 years, Jordan Love is 5-7 in the conference. That includes not last year, but the year before, going 4-2 when the Vikings weren't no good, when the Bears ended up having the number 1 pick. Last year, he went 1-5 in the division. So I can't crown you as some type of Super Bowl contender or even somebody that's going to win your division when for the last 2 years, you haven't been able to beat Detroit. And last year, you damn near couldn't beat anybody in that division. And you added Micah Parsons, which is cool. But some of the things that I've heard is there's still concern in the run game, stopping the run game, excuse me. I'm not there. I'm not there with Jordan Love and the Packers yet. Good team, but a tough division.
Boo.
But here's the thing, though. Whether it's the Packers or the Lions or the Commanders, history says a team that was really good last year is going to miss the playoffs this year. And it's just a matter of who and why. And like the Rams, like prior to that stuff with Stafford, I was like, it was you and Kyle really sold me towards the tail end of last year. Oh, the Rams are. I started thinking, could the Rams do it last year? And it's like, okay, they've retooled this team really nicely. You are absolutely running out of real estate with Matt Stafford, but if you got another year or two with him, like to be maybe 2 years to be a really high level quarterback, Then this back stuff starts, and it's like, I don't feel good about this at all. The injury, the type of injury, and the age, it's hard for me to get over.
Yeah.
There are a lot of questions around Detroit. There's a lot of questions around all of these teams. But you go to Green Bay. You asked privately that I don't even know that we talked about publicly is did the Cowboys sell the Packers a lemon? Now I don't know that Micah Parsons in the long term is going to be a lemon, but we're talking about a team who I said, I think a lot of people said it, but talking amongst this group, I was like, I think this elevates them to a team that can compete with Philadelphia to represent the NFC. I didn't feel that way before Micah. So if Micah's in bad shape, then yeah, like I don't feel the same way about the Packers. Questions. The Commanders. This is a team building off of we talk about 4 in and 4 out. One of the teams that made the playoffs last year that didn't make it the year before was the Washington Commanders. And so it's like, okay, we're operating on this one season. We're operating on the offensive rookie of the year. Man, the future looks bright in the nation's capital, at least as it pertains to football. And it's like, all right, I'm sorry to do this, guys. One more time. And it won't take 17 games. It won't take an 18-week season. I think we'll know in week 4 or 5, like, oh, okay. No, this team is built. Like they're built to go.
I agree.
And then to your point about Detroit, everyone was injured, all of this stuff. Yeah, you've had issues before that. Is everything we projected them to be healthy reality, or was it a figment of our imagination?
Right. I'll go back.
Good team will miss.
I'll go back on that Packers pick as well. We've been spending a month plus about the 49ers wide receivers. What's that Packers wide receiver room looking like? And are they dominant in other areas to make up for that? We're talking about a Jaden Reed. We're talking about a Tucker Kraft, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs. Where's their number one? They don't have one. So we use those arguments.
Well, what is part 2 of that argument?
Jordan Love and what he does.
You're paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the weight that he has to carry now. It's the Brock Purdy, these different guys. Okay, you're gonna have to make one, dog.
And to be perfectly clear, we talk about it, we joke about it, or whatever. I think Jordan Love is a good quarterback. I don't think he's top of the top. I don't think he's gonna elevate Dobbs and Watson and all these other guys to being a division winner or a championship contender. I don't think he's that good.
You know where I think he'll get aided a lot, and this isn't meant to be a knock on him. It's a credit to the Packers, is their pass protection is really good. Like that's a team that has a solid offensive line that works to keep him upright, and that will give him time. If he can develop that chemistry with those maybe not number 1 wide receivers to make a number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah. Norm in the chat says Green Bay is a Super Bowl contender, but they'll miss the playoffs. Look, that's all subjective. Somebody may think they're a Super Bowl contender. Somebody else might not. I'll just ask you this, Norm. Give me the 3 big games that Jordan Love has won in his career. Put them in the chat. Like, he showed up and showed out in these games. I'll give you one, and that's the Cowboys. That Cowboys game, who nobody took seriously in the postseason. That's one. Give me 2 more.
Every year, 4 teams that made the playoffs the previous year do not make them the next season, and we just gave you our 4 teams. Jesse, who'd you have out?
Vikings, Lions, Steelers, and Chargers.
Vikings are a team I'm really, really on the fence about, and part of it is the, I guess, de facto rookie quarterback. KC, who are the 4 teams you had out?
Steelers, Bucks, Packers, and Rams.
I had the Steelers, Commanders, Chargers, and Rams. Steelers, Commanders, Chargers, and Rams. Steelers out, Bengals in. Bengals made a run at the end of the last season. I don't think there could be a football team hyped more than the Cincinnati Bengals, and rightfully so. It's a good football team. I have been reluctant to jump on that train, but I'm not full steam ahead to the Super Bowl, but I like the Bengals this year. I got the Commanders out. I don't feel great about that. I do think they're going to compete all the way till the end of the season again. Don't feel great. I got the San Francisco 49ers in. That's not homerism. That's a schedule and a quarterback I believe in. I got the 49ers in. Chargers out because I'm a hater, and I just refuse to give up on, I'm going to take the Chargers out.
You heard that, Jim. You heard that. Do what you do.
I think I'm putting the Jaguars in.
It's not crazy. I've heard that a couple of times.
I don't love it. Like their coach he's getting a lot of love. I really want to believe in Trevor Lawrence. I really want to see the Clemson quarterback. I really want to see the chosen one. I really want to see that. I'm going to go Jaguars are in. I thought about Houston for a few minutes as a team that's out and just swapping but I couldn't do it. I like CJ too much. Okay. So the Rams are out, which means I need another NFC team. I didn't know what to do.
I swear, if you say the Giants.
Go to hell.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm going the New York Giants. Here's why I'm going the New York Giants.
That's Russell Wilson's out for the season after 2 weeks.
Well, I'm sorry to Danger Russ and Sierra, but is that the worst thing that could happen?
For the Giants, no. For him, maybe.
Right. For the Giants, it's not. This team's all vibes.
There's a reason why he's the backup and it's not Jameis.
This team is all vibes. Jackson Dart's going to be quarterbacking this team at some point, and it might not be because catastrophe is struck. It could be because, like, hey, man, let's get this kid in there. Don't like their coach. That's not changing. But y'all spend so much time talking about defense and the Vikings defense and this defense and the Broncos. Everybody loves the Broncos because of their defense. You said it repeatedly this offseason. Might be the best defense in the league. The Giants defense is far from the best defense in the league, but they have the potential to be really, really good. I'm leaning on the Giants defense. I'm leaning on the Giants offensive line to protect one of their two quarterbacks. And I know this is the hottest take thing I could do. You can clip it and laugh at me later. The Giants are the team I think makes the turnaround, even though the Jaguars kind of are too. I think the Giants are the team that makes a turnaround and grabs that last playoff spot.
Okay.
Who's in?
So bold move, Cotton. We'll see what
Who
plays
wants
out.
in?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
No.
Gosh.
No.
You're a one man.
No. Jesse?
No.
You are absolutely
Chatty House. Come on, man. Who's in?
You are absolutely
Who's in?
Disco Inferno on the one man
man.
wolf back here.
Dame's Pig.
Oh, he was part of the Wolf Pack.
Dame's Pig is hopeful on Russell Wilson being ruled out for the season after the first 2 weeks.
I don't want nothing to happen to Russ. I just want Jackson
You
Dart
see,
to
after week
replay
2,
him.
Russell Wilson could be indicted on betting charges in the NFL.
Russell Wilson took an extra $28 million from the
there
Giants.
it is. There it is. You know, they'd be best off is Brian Daboll. Hey, Brian Daboll is getting paid by someone. Get him out of here.
I want to be clear because
Kyle says this is like when D'Lo was a Raiders fan last year.
He was a Browns guy before that.
Oh,
Mario Ellie, the kiss of death.
I'm pretty sure it was a Panthers phase at one
there
point.
you go. Wait, is that true?
I think you were a Sam Darnold guy at one point. Oh, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was there, I think.
That's right. It was. That's true.
Oh my gosh, if you're a Giants fan, your season's cooked.
Man.
Oh man. Now look, I want to say this because
Apologies to Dexter Lawrence and the crew there. Sorry about that.
I want to say this because there becomes a lot of revisionist history with my boys when things be happening. So when the Niners are 9-2 on the season, and people say, "Oh, it's only because they had an easy schedule," mind you, you just added 2 playoff teams to their schedule. Not that you have revisionist history. I'm just saying in general.
No.
You did. You put the Giants and the Jags in the playoffs. They're on the schedule.
You don't get to do that though, because I just asked you if you wanted in on my Giants take, and you very casually and somewhat emphatically said no.
We did laugh at him a little bit.
Everybody said the Giants were going to be in the playoffs. You heard it here first. Everyone said it.
It's me and Zabo, and Norm.
And Zabo did it out of spite because I took the Bucs.
Well, I think Zabo did it out of pity. In fact, anyone who's riding in this car with me did it out of pity.
So yes, when the Niners are 9-2 and cooking, I don't want to hear easy schedule. Damian just added 2 playoff teams.
You know what's even funnier than my Giants take is Michael saying Giants over the Cowboys is hilarious. Now, Michael, that's funny.
Cowboys might
Michael
be last
in
the division.
Bruh, say it
talking
again.
about?
Say it again. Man.
Look, and they might have been last in the division if they had Micah. Don't nobody feel differently about the Cowboys because they don't have Micah. We already thought they weren't going to be no good. So there's that.
Man.
Jesse, you
I
want to
really
go?
can't believe I said the Giants out loud.
Yeah, I'll go. All right. I got the Bengals in taking the Steelers spot. 49ers. I'm going to go Falcons for right now. For that other team in the NFC.
Okay.
I got the Bears there, question mark. I really want it to be the Bears, but I don't know. I like that Falcons offense. And then I'm going to go Jags for that final spot in the AFC.
Jags getting a lot of buzz.
But they're going to be – I didn't even love taking the Chargers out, to be honest. It's just I needed a 4th team. So I think it'll be the Jags.
Spite. Just do it out of spite.
The Jags. I think it's the Jags, Chargers, and the Dolphins battling out at the end of the
season. Okay. All right. I like that. I've got the Bengals taking the Steelers spot.
Okay. Yeah.
I've got the Falcons taking the Bucs spot. I've got the 49ers taking the Rams spot. And the Packers were a wild card. So who do I have in that wild card for the NFC? Before I go there real quick, I heard something. This is crazy. It's true. And it's crazy. I got to cite my sources. This was Bill Simmons who came up with this.
Oh,
but this is crazy.
We almost made it the whole day. We made it 3 hours without a Bill Simmons reference.
This is crazy, though.
Mm-hmm.
For the last 22 seasons, the San Francisco 49ers have either missed the playoffs completely or made the NFC Championship game. That's insane.
Yeah.
22, no in between, no wild card, no division round, no nothing. You either make it and go to the NFC Championship game or you miss it completely.
That's
for 2 decades.
That's ridiculous. That is pretty ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Goodness gracious.
Damn.
So what's happening this year?
Making the NFC Championship game.
I guess so. 49ers and Packers. We know who win that one.
Packers wild card spot.
Mm-hmm. And you have them out.
I have them out. Buying into the hype, man. I'm giving it to the Seahawks.
That was another team I thought about.
Yeah.
Seahawks been getting a lot of buzz in this offseason. I think that defense is going to be really good. I don't know about the offense. I don't think Sam Darnold's a bum, though. You know, I think he's about Geno Smith.
He's absolutely not a bum.
I think he's about Geno Smith, and Geno Smith went 10-7 last year and made the playoffs, I think, the year before. So I got them going 10-7. Or excuse me, I got them coming off the 10-7 season, making the playoffs as a wild card. So yeah, I got them in, Packers out. That didn't feel good. That didn't feel good.
I'm gonna change one of my picks. I'm gonna go Bears over Falcons.
No, it's It's on
it's
wax.
not locked. It's not
on
wax. There's no wax.
Wow. And what'd you say?
I'm gonna go Bears over Falcons, I think.
Okay.
Bears got to show.
If the Bears don't do
I don't
it this
like.
year, I'm out on them forever.
So what made you? What made you said the Falcons, and you at least thought about the Falcons. What? I'm like Drake. What did I miss?
they played. Yeah,
Penix gonna be cool.
Drake,
Bijan Robinson,
is he?
Drake London.
Drake. They played.
Penix is.
They played better
good
with him last season, so I think people are expecting them to just kind of carry it this year, be a little bit better. Bijan Robinson's supposed to be next, and then Drake London.
Serious question. Receiver. Kirk Cousins is still there.
Yeah,
yes.
Just collecting money.
Yes.
Oh.
Good for him. Good for him. Better not see that field.
I like the Bears defense better than the Falcons too. Like I think the Bears have offensively, like they all both have weapons, but I'm gonna count on the Bears defense.
Yeah, the Bears. I'll just wait and see.
Yeah, Caleb got to show me.
I'll just wait and see.
Caleb got to show me, and I don't like what he's shown me so.
All right, we're bringing our man Rob Brooks from NBC Sports Bay Area 49ers pre and post. We've been talking for 5 minutes already.
Legend, Rob Brooks, man.
Absolutely,
legend, man.
Absolutely, man. We could just crack the mics and talk. We could talk Ohio players with
straight up.
Rob being good shape.
Sweet sticky thing.
I
went with that one. I could have said Love Roller Coaster, but I didn't. I went with.
No, you didn't. You went with Sweet Sticky Thing, which is great for our audience. That's terrific. There's gonna be pause moments all over the comment section. Concern level when you saw Christian McCaffrey on the injury report yesterday?
Okay, so I heard it straight from my new partner on NBC Sports Bay Area Niners pre and post game shows, the great the Don, Matt Mayoko. And Matt, he's doing television with us, but Matt is a reporter. And Matt knows how to get the story and source the story. So when you get it from Matt, you're getting the straight dope. So anyway, so Matt drops the information yesterday at around 4:45 after he finished his interview with Kyle Shanahan. And when I got it from Matt didn't seem to be too concerned. Now, this was yesterday. And the word that was put out there in terms of McCaffrey being able to practice was the word limited. So I took that as, okay, I'm going to look at this as glass half full. It's a lower leg injury with Christian McCaffrey. So immediately you start to go, Chicken Little, the sky's falling. And I completely understand that. But my thing is he's limited, okay? That's not optimal, but it's better than Christian McCaffrey couldn't practice. Okay, now we go to today. Christian McCaffrey at practice. They just started at 12:35, okay? He was out there in uniform for the team drills. Then he went off to the side and started working with the trainers and the big wigs and as far as performance is concerned for the Niners. So I say all that to say I don't necessarily like it, quite frankly. I think he's eventually, when the status report comes out, he's either going to be questionable or probable. Questionable, it is what it is. He may play, he may not play. That's the 50-50 chance. Probable is 75%. Obviously, full go is full go, 100%. If he's questionable, that's a concern. Probable, no concern. Him playing Sunday, just from my point of view, I think it might be in doubt, quite frankly, for this to creep up. And this is just my point of view. Not anything I've heard, not anything I've seen fully. It's just my point of view. I think if he's questionable, he doesn't play because the long game is the game that they have to play with Christian McCaffrey. So right now, it's not great. And I don't know if there's enough time for it to truly get better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that as well. Like, one of the things that we hear all the time in sports, and I know Dame kind of rolls his eyes when people say this, but, if Kyle Shanahan gets on there and says, if this was a playoff situation, he'd be out there, but it's the first game of the season, so we're going to play it safe. And I roll my eyes at that sometimes too, but I think with Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers and how important he is to the 49ers, if there is any doubt, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world to sit him for a game, maybe even two.
If this were to crop up in, let's just say, 3 weeks into training camp, the Niners they'd shut him down, all right? Or maybe not shut him down, but they would definitely take the side of, all right, we're not going to push it. We're going to do what we need to do to get him ramped up as soon as we can and ready for the first game of the season. I think if it were a must-win game, a late season game, or if it's a playoff game, he's probably going to play. Discretion is the better part of valor here for the Niners. I will say this, while this potential scenario is not optimal, the Niners have beaten the Seahawks in Seattle 3 years in a row. They went up there last year and beat Seattle without Christian McCaffrey. They did it with Isaac Guerrero running for almost 100 yards, 10 for 99. They ran for 228 yards and 3 touchdowns. Did that without Christian McCaffrey. Now, that's a different Seattle defense. They're placing a value on being able to stop the run, like all smart teams, as the Niners are, like all smart teams do. It's a different Seattle team. It's a different year. It's an entirely different situation. But my point is that in this very hypothetical scenario of possibly not having Christian McCaffrey or not having a fully healthy Christian McCaffrey, it's not a death sentence for the Niners to go to Seattle and play a game and compete and win, because they just did it last year. Now, here's the thing. Brock Purdy last year, 18-28, 3 touchdowns. Who did 2 of those 3 touchdowns go to? It went to Deebo Samuel, who's no longer on the team. He had 3 catches for 102 yards and a touchdown. He had 1 touchdown. Kittle, had 2 touchdowns. You have Kittle, you don't have Deebo. So to me, people are going to point, again, in this hypothetical scenario that we hope does not happen, if you don't have Christian McCaffrey, where do you get your offense? Where do you get your run game? They're going to lean heavy on Guerrero. I don't know how much Brian Robinson can help, because I don't think he's gotten a grasp of the playbook to their specifications, especially when it comes to blitz pickup. So you're going to rely on Guerrero again, and you're going to rely on Kittle. And there's one name that didn't play last year that I think is going to fill not the Deebo role, because Deebo was one of one, but Ricky Pearsall. To me, this is a game where Ricky Pearsall shows up and he's able to give you something in that offense that can be dynamic. But make no mistake, if there is no Christian McCaffrey, we saw it last night with the Eagles. Saquon Barkley makes all the difference for the world for that Eagles offense, and Christian McCaffrey is the exact same way.
Do you have high expectations for Ricky Pearsall this year?
I do. I do. Young man can play. I remember a little bit in Florida, and what I've seen from him, and the info I've got coming out of training camp is that he's ready. He's absolutely ready. But this is his first game of the season. Yeah, he got a chance to play last year, but this is his first opening day, if you will, game. And it's a whole different set of circumstances, because we are still talking about human beings. I mean, there's just, getting geared up for that game. So how does he handle that adrenaline? How does he handle the ebbs and the flows of that game? But I do think that Ricky Pearsall can be a dude, and be a dude quickly for him. And the combination he has with Brock Purdy, it's not an accident. I mean, these dudes are an absolute lockstep. But real game is a completely different story than training camp.
Yeah. Rod, I was talking earlier with the guys, and you would hear something like Christian McCaffrey potentially being out 2 years ago. Like, they don't have a chance. Like, they got this rookie, Mr. Irrelevant quarterback, and that's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And, my partner brought up a scenario where Trent Williams, if he was like, that's
cooked.
That's cooked. After 2 full seasons of Brock Purdy, him playing at a very high level in one season, and him doing a pretty good job last year, getting the big contract, I feel like that pendulum has swung a little bit. Where if Brock Purdy is who Niner fans hope he is, and who the organization paid him to be, you never want those guys out like McCaffrey and Trent Williams. But it should start to turn into, well, we've got Brock Purdy here, so we've always got a shot to win because we got this guy here.
Yeah.
Do you think he's at that point going into a game like Sunday?
Well, no, I absolutely think he's at that point, because let's go back to last year. For all the problems the Niners had last year, Brock Purdy, to me, was at the bottom of that list. Now, there were many instances where he could have been better, but I would challenge anyone to look at the totality of last year and go, Brock Purdy was the reason that they only won 6 games. I saw it. I can't see it, and I don't think that's a fair assessment. But there were times last year where Brock Purdy's play was an issue, And I think, and even he's admitted it, because he was trying to do too much. Why was he trying to do too much? All right, because he didn't have Christian McCaffrey, because he didn't have Brandon Ayuk, after a while, because of issues that they had on defense, not being able to stop the run, the issues
Ricky
that
got
they had.
shots.
Right, exactly. The issues they had on special teams. So clearly, Brock Purdy has to be better, but I don't think that his goal to be better than he was last year is that big of a goal to achieve. Because again, the problems last year the Niners had, I just don't think Brock Purdy was responsible for the majority of them. That being said, again, addressing the hopefully it never happens, but the possible scenario that Christian McCaffrey is unable to play on Sunday against Seattle. Well, that's a problem, because now about the red zone. That was one big issue for the Niners last year. They were awful in the red zone. Why were they awful in the red zone? Because you don't have Christian McCaffrey. All right. Again, like Saquon Barkley, make sure, I'm not throwing shade on Jalen Hurts or anything or the Eagles, but he makes you a much better quarterback and a much better offense if you can get the ball to him and he can catch it with one hand and stiff arm a dude with another. I mean, come on, dog.
That was a linebacker too.
I mean, yeah. He's a linebacker playing running back, running over linebackers and catching the ball. So, if they don't have McCaffrey, red zone is going to be an issue. But does Pearsall make a difference there? Does Kittle, who got those 2 red zone touchdowns for the Niners last year, is he able to help out in that regard? I think, and I don't think that this is necessarily a controversial opinion, but I know people will raise eyebrows on it. If Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey are both out, to me, the bigger loss is Trent Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't have to worry about that in this instance because Trent Williams is playing. But again, we don't know if McCaffrey's not going to be able to play. I'm just saying that I think that the Niners, because they have done it before and they have other pieces around offensively, I think they're more equipped to handle a game without Christian McCaffrey than they would be able to handle a game without Trent Williams.
We need to dump the Pretty Ricky name too. He's White Boy Rick now.
I go with Slick Rick.
He's White Boy Rick.
I like White Boy Rick.
Yeah, I can't go with Slick Rick because we all know who the real ruler is, and the Slick Rick's still throwing out albums right now to this day. He's still doing it.
I like Pretty Ricky too, though. I do like Pretty Ricky.
Pretty Ricky, what they call him. But to me, White Boy Rick is it.
I mean, the man got shot. The man got shot. Like
that is true.
Pretty gone now. Like,
but when you see him, though, I mean, what is he? He's White Boy Rick. I mean, it's right there in the description. Right? What's his name? Rick. What is he? White boy. White Boy Rick.
It works. Now, just real quick, not everybody's gonna get that. Google it. Like that. Just Google it. Just go with it. What? Like overall, we talked about Trent, Christian McCaffrey, the importance of them being in the lineup. Like, what is your expectation for this team overall?
Well, my expectation is they will be better than last year. Okay, I went out on a limb to say that. They will go to the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to win the division because if Matthew Stafford is healthy, that Rams outfit is pretty good. I mean, that defense is what the Niners hope that they can get. And I will get to the Niners' current defensive situation in a second. But that Rams defense is no joke. Seattle's an interesting situation. I can't wait to watch them play on Sunday because they've got a good defense. Rams is better. I wonder how that offensive line is going to hold up for Sam Darnold. But I find Seattle to be interesting. But I know about the Rams. For the Niners, they have enough to win. They have enough offensively, assuming Christian McCaffrey is healthy, knock on wood that happens. For me, their questions are going to be on defense. And how long does it take for the young guys that they just drafted and they are counting on immediately, like Michael Williams, to start? How long is it going to take those guys to get up to speed and get going and provide Robert Saleh and that defense what they need? Their big problem last year defensively was when they needed to stop the run, they could not stop the run. They would get run on in the fourth quarter, particularly up the middle. So Michael Williams, Alfred Collins, when he gets going, CJ West, those are the guys that I point to and go, if they can get going sooner rather than later, I think you're cooking with gas because the Niners are trying to do what the Rams did a couple of years ago. Get young, get talented, and hopefully these guys can get going. The Robert Saleh pickup is good because you know him. He's a very good defensive coordinator, obviously. But for him to get these young guys on the ground floor and get them up to speed, that to me is his main job. That is his main challenge. So if these young defensive players that the Niners just drafted can get it going, all right, you got it. I don't know about that. So to me, the offense is going to be ahead of the defense early. I think they will be somewhere around 500 after 8 games. And then to me, the defense will eventually pick up, and then it'll be a team that will be complementary of each other on both sides of the ball.
Rod, I'm glad you brought up the defense because the young guys that you talk about, that's a great point. But we talk about if Christian can't go, if Trent Williams can't go, a lot of pressure being on Brock Purdy. I look at 97, and I look at he held out a couple years ago.
Also known as White Boy Nick.
Again, it's right there in the description.
Not the same as White Boy Rick.
No, they're different. They're the same, but they different.
But different.
Okay. But man, you held out a couple years ago. You wanted to be the highest non-paid quarterback in the game, and you haven't come close to being a DPOY level player. You look at Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett. Right now, based off the last couple of years, they're I shouldn't say couple. They're a level ahead of you. You're maybe on that level because of reputation, but production-wise, wrecking the game. The one game I remember him last year wrecking was the Seattle game when they needed it. They needed it on a short week, and he went crazy.
Yeah.
I need that about 6 or 7 times this year. He didn't give it to us 6 or 7 times last year.
Well, a couple of things. Myles Garrett is a superior player. TJ Watt, the numbers are there. For me, I'd rather have Bosa. Numbers are there with Micah Parsons. Bosa's a much better player against the run. Much better player at setting the edge. I think he doesn't get enough credit, Bosa, for what he does fitting into the Niners' run scheme. I think for Bosa, though, getting him some help on the other side. And I mentioned Michael Williams, the Niners' first-round draft pick. Bryce Huff, another guy. Give him some help on the other side. Let him get some one-on-ones. And when he gets those, he's got to win the vast majority of those. But if the Niners are in a situation where they were last year and in previous years at times to where teams could focus on him, that's hard. And I understand where you're coming from because we point to the raw numbers. You want to see sacks, you want to see quarterback hits, you want to see game disruption. But I think, though, it has to be a little bit more nuanced than that when talking about these upper echelon guys who are all great. Mm-hmm. When talking about them is their intangibles and what else do they do other than, as important as it is, and this is what they're paid to do, other than cave in the left side of the offensive or the right side of the offensive line and harass the quarterback all game long. So I'm right there with you. And he wants this. Bosa, who doesn't say a whole lot, has hinted that he needs to get better. He wants to get better to be back in that defensive player of the year situation. But I will say this, you mentioned it. When you needed him, he did come through. And more often than not, even if the raw numbers don't necessarily say it, Nick Bosa comes through for you more often than not. I mean, to me, the big thing, the fact that he's been able to stay healthy, which was the main thing about him, that has not really been that big of an issue or an issue at all, quite frankly.
I need more of those Seattle games last year.
I get it.
In Seattle
I get it. I guarantee you, if you said that to him, he'd go, I need to give you more of those Seattle games too.
Yeah. I guarantee if you said that to him, he'd get the hell out of his face.
No, we're going to need somebody else. Maybe Matt Mayoko can say that too. I don't know if we can.
We're going to need Ricky Pearsall to say it.
Hey, do y'all doubt my ability to code switch? I wear a suit and tie for a living. Do y'all doubt my ability to be like, excuse me, Nick? I'm just wondering.
Okay, let's be honest. I could do it. I can pull it off. It'd be fine. I can do it. I can say, me and Rod go up there like Tom and Tom from In Living Color would be great.
Tom,
We'll be great.
Yo.
oh man, I go up there and be like, boy, like, question, boy,
You ain't from around here, are you?
you lost, boy,
You lost. You ain't from around these parts, are you?
I actually am from Sacramento. How'd you know that?
No, man.
Yo, man.
Are the 49ers Super Bowl contenders?
Well, yes, yeah. You get to the playoffs, you're a Super Bowl contender. I see them as a playoff team. Are there better teams? Absolutely. But are they a squad that if they get in, can they make some things happen? Absolutely. Yeah. But again, it's going to be all predicated on how long does it take for the defense to do what it couldn't do last year, which was stop the run and disrupt passing games, specifically by getting to the quarterback on the regular. And for me, again, bringing it back to Robert Saleh, the last two defensive coordinators were defensive back minded, so to speak. What do you get when you get Robert Saleh? The front is the most important thing. Getting the quarterbacks. I mean, everybody says this, but not everybody drafts to that specification defensively, and not everybody focuses on that defensively. But Saleh, he does. That front, getting to the quarterback, stop the run. You just saw it in the draft. That told you everything you needed to know, how the Niners looked at last year and how they look at the now and the future. They had to get better on that defensive line up the middle, on the other side of Bosa. They need those linemen to occupy blocks so Fred Warner and D. Winters can flow sideline to sideline without having to deal with an offensive lineman coming at him or getting their hands on him. The Niners defensive line, they've got to stop the run so you get in those second and long, third and long situations. So now Bosa or Huff can go in there and do their job, or you could get some push up the middle and get some sacks up the middle. So if they can get that defense back to I shouldn't say back to what it was a few years ago, because a few years ago it was great. But if they could get it back to their standard, then this is a team, because I think offensively they're going to be really, really good. Again, with Christian McCaffrey's health being close to 100%. Offensively, they will get the job done. If the defense and the special teams, for special teams, just stop being awful at times. And this is not even just about Jake Moody, although he's the first person you think of. How about you stop getting got on fake punts? How about you do better in returns and opposing teams' punt returns and kick returns? Special teams just has to be barely competent, even though I think they will be better. If the defense is somewhere in the top 15, this Niner team is Super Bowl contending for sure. Winning the Super Bowl, that's an entirely different story.
Need some Hail Marys for that. Need some Hail Marys.
Might have to.
Yeah. I wanted to, running out of time, and I wanted to make sure Rod had at least 30 to 45 seconds to talk about the state of the Cowboys, because I don't know if there is a person in America more happy with how the last week and a half went down. So go do your thing, Rod.
Let me see. See, this ain't no game. I don't know if I can read that. This ain't no game, okay? I'm from Houston, Texas, okay? I've been hating Cowboys all my life, all right? Nothing brings me, and this is true, nothing brings me more joy sports-wise than watching the Cowboys fail. And I was just talking to a buddy of mine I play golf with who's a Cowboy fan.
One of the happiest men alive.
Right and of course. And I'm like, I don't know what makes me happier. Watching the Cowboys mess it up in the playoffs because they got y'all's hopes up, Cowboy fans, or watching them be awful all year long. Either way, I'm winning. Watching CeeDee Lamb sit there looking at his hands like, how could you fail me? Like, you got hands like the Venus de Milo, dog. You dropped 4 passes last night. You one of the leaders in drops as a receiver. And we trained Michael Parsons because we need to get better against the run. And then they get run on all night long. And then they got no pass rush. Oh,
Then CD wanted to go in the blue tent after the last drop.
Hey,
Ain't nothing wrong with your head.
Hey, what?
Ain't got no concussion.
What they gonna do? Sew an extra hand on there so you can fumble that one around too? Man, let me tell you something. Watching the Cowboys lose on TV, there ain't been nothing that funny on TV since Martin was in first run. Oh my God, I loved it.
That was exactly what yeah, we did. We did. Ask, I don't mean to but ask Eddie what you just brought up with Kawhi and all that, because I might be in the minority when I say I would do it again.
I laid out what I thought was a pretty compelling argument that Kawhi Leonard's signing with the Los Angeles Clippers could wind up being looked at as one of the worst moves in basketball. Now we've operated, Eddie, since Pablo's podcast have comes out with the term, we just called it the presumption of guilt. We've operated under the idea of a presumption of consequence, that there are going to be ramifications ahead for Steve Ballmer, potentially voided contracts, potentially lost draft picks. And I laid out the scenario of Kawhi allegedly not wanting to sign with the Clippers unless Paul George was traded for. We laid out what that cost the Los Angeles Clippers to get Paul George, all of those draft picks, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the fact that he's only played in 56% of the Clippers games since he signed with them in 2019. And now you have those 5 draft picks, the 2 pick swaps, and just if we split the difference, we'll say 3 lost draft picks coming up here if Adam Silver decides to levy a penalty against them. You're talking a potential 8 lost draft picks for the signing of Kawhi Leonard and the loss of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for a team that was built to win the NBA title and didn't even come close.
All right. So let me do what LeBron would do and make this about LeBron. I had a conversation recently where I said, is LeBron's Lakers tenure a disappointment? Like, yes, they got a title, but they've been in the play-in a lot. They've missed the playoffs. Like you can't call it a disappointment because he got a title, but when you get him, you were expecting a little bit more, right? You're expecting it to happen quicker, to last longer, all of that good stuff. So if that may be a mild disappointment to me in the grand scheme of things, when you get Kawhi fresh off a title, looking like, and now I don't agree, but people are arguing that's the best player in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to one conference finals, and you go to that conference finals on the heels of a lot of injuries, and Kawhi was hurt. And that's it. And like you said, he only played 65% of the games, and you had to do all of that stuff to get Paul George for him in order to sign him. And now, again, you split the difference. Let's take the mildest version of whatever this penalty can be. Okay, we don't void Kawhi's contract. You guys get to get him, and he gets to finish this, but you lose 3 picks. It's a massive disappointment for what you did. For, Ballmer shows up, and that's his splash, and the rollout they had about, how they were going to be better than the Lakers and all this stuff. Massive disappointment. And then the way the team is set up right now, when it finally pulls the plug, and some people thought it was going to happen this summer, if Kawhi is healthy and feeling better, I understand why they wait. But when you finally pull the plug, it is going to be nothing there on that team. It is going to be nothing, and no way to replenish either unless you're really going to splash in free agency. And the problem with splashing in free agency now is you don't have $53 million to throw around under the table because they are going to be on your, can I say ass? They're going to be on your ass now. So there is, what happens when Kawhi's gone and you have no titles and you have nothing? So yes, I think it was incredibly disappointing over the long stretch, if you think about it. And then you look at the teams that won titles around them, and you finally get the exclamation point this year, the guy you gave away, with multiple picks. So some of the other guys you gave away, and they raised the trophy. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. And I love Kawhi, and I get stuck in these Kawhi arguments because they try to say he's better than Big Al from yesterday. And I know he's not.
No.
But man, like, if you go back, do you do it again? Probably, because there was no other options. That this was how you get a star in the Clippers jersey. And
knowing what it could cost you, you do it again.
My thing is, You do it again, but I'm not giving all that up for Paul George. It was a trade. It was a crazy trade then. It was a crazier trade as it went on. And then obviously Shea turns into one of the best players in the league. It works. But if you can get Kawhi at that time, he's fresh off a title. You got to do it. You got to do it and see what's what. But my thing about this story is I don't know what's going to come of this. I like to believe that Steve Ballmer is, and the people around him with all the resources he has, smarter than this. And if nothing else, they covered their tracks legally. But apparently this can be done with, circumstantial evidence. And when you look at the man invested $50 million and then 48 of it went straight to Kawhi over a 3-year stretch. And I'm guessing the rest is the tax for even doing this. It looks, it looks pretty crazy. And my thing with this is, and other people have said it's not an original thought. If the league presses this and they try to make an example out of Steve Ballmer, how many bodies does Steve Ballmer know where they're buried at in the desert? And is he going to just burn the house down with everybody else and say, well, if you came for me, you got to come for this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. And Mark Cuban essentially said that. And so, this type of stuff I'm sure happens, but maybe he just bit off more than he can chew because $50 million is a lot of money. And there's only so many places you can hide that.
Yeah. I think to the first thing you said, when Damian asked the question, I said, even in hindsight, which sounds crazy because SGA just won an MVP, I'd probably do it. I'd probably do it all again because the other thing that we don't factor in, I know LeBron was there, but somebody else reminded me, Anthony Davis had just gotten to LA. And if you're Steve Ballmer and your whole play with buying this team and we're not going to be second fiddle. Like, we're going to create our own identity. We're going to be looked at just like a top flight LA team, just like everybody else here is. They go get LeBron and AD. You got to go get something to go compete with that. And
if you do the mental map and say that trade got us this arena, you do it. You do it every time. You do both trades every time. You get the arena. The arena will make all the money back. You're fine. Yeah. But
it just makes you look respectable in that city. You know what I mean? Like,
but Ballmer was going to get the arena no matter what.
He was, but you're going to get he was because he's Ballmer, and that's what makes it a little different. But you getting the season
Ballmer
tickets?
Is what throws this whole thing off.
Yeah.
Like we said this yesterday. Eddie, if this was Vivek Ranadive, they would have taken the team from him yesterday. Like, get your ass out of here. We don't want no part of this.
Yeah.
But it's Steve Ballmer, the 5th richest man in the world. It's not even owners don't play on a level playing field. This is different.
Right. Yeah. It's my thing about this story too is like nobody's surprised, but it feels like the groundswell of just conversation is too much for everybody to ignore at this point. I started off going, yo, we don't care. But it's gotten so loud. And then Ballmer obviously came forward and spoke. And my thing is like, yo, everybody says, well, he needs to talk to Pablo. Why? Pablo's going to ask him the same question. He's not going to go in front of Pablo and say, yeah, I did it. I did. You asked me the right question. You're right. I did it. So it's like, we only learn so much from this. What we really learn from is whatever the league ends up doing. And that's what will, serve us going forward. But I don't know. It's a tricky story. And I put it like this. If his contract gets voided, there's going to be an arms race for Kawhi. And
but is there
Houston Kawhi? Good 15 minutes.
But how are you going to
bring
sign
your
him?
uncle?
But how are you going to sign him?
If he want to play, he might have to sign for the vet minimum, not vet minimum, but the mid level.
Hey, buddy, you got an extra 50. Come get this
right.
5.
Well, it might be 43 because I don't think he's getting that 7 that's out there.
Uncle Dennis has his way.
Well,
be damned with that $100 million. I want my 7.
Uncle Dennis's call should have been, "Hey, take us off the list of creditors. You can keep the $7 million." Instead, he called and said, "Hey, I don't care what government is investigating you. Give me my goddamn money."
$3, buddy.
I think
the Kawhi stuff is one of those things. Like it was kind of like urban legend. Like you would hear how he was moving, but if you weren't around Kawhi, you can't prove it. You know, we don't know what Kawhi is doing, but you would hear like, yeah, this, and that. Like that. That's crazy. He moved to San Diego, and they got to fly him to LA every time, and every day he's on a helicopter and all like crazy stuff. And it's like, team paying for it. And then this comes out, I'm like, wait, that might have been true.
Well, I hate to make this comparison. It's like the Diddy stuff. How much crazy stuff did we hear about Sean Combs? It's like, come on, man.
Bro, he really blew up dude's car.
Stop.
Like,
that was the one.
And then all of a sudden it's like,
it was like, he didn't blow up the car, but he tried. They had him sounding like a Bat villain. Like, I'm like, yo.
That's crazy. Man. You're around the NBA pretty intimately. How common is stuff like this?
I think Mark Cuban is the one who jumped out and said it, and then Nate Duncan, who's a writer, and I think he works with Dame Lillard and this some stuff. Anyway, it's not uncommon for a team sponsor to then sponsor a team player, and then it be contingent on, all right, if you leave this team, this is over. Now, $50 million in a brown paper bag through a shell corporation, that's some what's the show called with the lawyers, Mike Ross and what's the name? Suits. There's some suit stuff. Like, you had to get them to get you out of this. I can't without saying too much, there's stuff going on for sure. There's stuff going on. And again, I think that's the conundrum the league has is like, all right, if you take him down, then you have to take everybody down. And can you do that?
We said earlier in the week, it's like tampering. Like deals are done 18 months before a player becomes a free agent. Everybody knows and everybody's talking or, talking to agents and back channels. But like Dame said earlier, Adam Silver is probably like, just don't make us look stupid. Like whatever you're doing, keep it on the low and keep it out of the public eye. And Ballmer was not able to do that this time.
I mean, you hear stories all the time. This agent has these players, and I got the big guy. So look, take care of my other guy. Hey, you can trade him later, but like, let's get him his money now. And then, obviously, I'll remember that next year when the big guy got a sign.
Hey, like, take care of Thanasis.
Hey, sign Tristan Thompson. Right. Sign J.R. Smith of $17 million.
Well, that was my immediate reaction. And look, along the lines of Ballmer, I'm sure they've taken care of this and handled all the legal loopholes they can. But the biggest player in the league has a sports agency. And that sports agency has routinely routed players toward him and his team. Routinely. Trade demands and all. And this happens all in front of our face. And we've all just been like, oh, yeah, whatever. It's above board. Now, they've made sure of it, I'm sure. Otherwise, it wouldn't be going on like this. And so I'd imagine Ballmer, whatever Ballmer did or didn't do, he covered his tracks. But if we find out he didn't, he gonna look crazy. He's not gonna care. He's worth whatever billions he's worth.
I don't care.
There's no way the NBA didn't say, "Hey, I need to see the paperwork."
Yeah, like
I need to see the company layout of Clutch Sports Group because your name cannot be anywhere near it.
I watched the first 10 minutes of Ballmer yesterday, and if I took a shot every time he said, "I don't know," I wouldn't be on the show right now. I
don't know. I just made the introduction. That's all I did. That's all I did.
I just donated $50 million. I didn't check on the company at all after that.
That's to me, that's the killer. That's the one where it's like, so I don't care. Yeah. You have that much money because you don't just throw out money that way.
Yeah. I don't know, man. What is $50 million to him though? Like if you lend somebody $10 at the vending machine, are you checking them every day at the work for that $10? It's like that might be how it is for him. He got a lot of money.
Kawhi is.
Oh, Uncle Dennis.
Kawhi and Uncle Dennis like, no, bro, give me that $10.
His last check was short.
Oh, there's a lot of Uncle Dennises in the league, though, aren't there?
Oh yeah. I mean, and the thing is, they don't always necessarily have this much power because you're with a bigger agency and you're dealing with stuff like that. But Uncle Dennis was doing everything. There was no CAA handling this or whatever. And if I'm Kawhi, he did a great job. That's an extra 50.
That ain't voided. I got that.
That's what I'm wondering. Like,
and I got that up. I got the rest of it.
can't now come get his money, right? Like he's good.
Not past
Nah,
money.
nah.
Future money, maybe, but past money, nah. That's already
It's
spent.
paid. Yeah.
I already bought the boat. Like
That's why I said he might have lost $7 million, but he ain't gonna lose the rest.
Here's how I say
7, gain 43.
here's how I say Bomber can skirt this whole thing if this is how it plays out. Is if he says if he makes the introduction to Aspiration, Kawhi and Aspiration. Hey, you guys talk to each other. I'm out of this. You guys go talk to each other. They come up with a price. Or maybe even Steve even told him before, like told him physically, not through paper email, but like, hey, whatever the price they come up with, go ahead, hit that. We're good. And it's Aspiration and Kawhi and Uncle Dennis say, I need $48 million. They're like, okay. And Aspire goes back to Bomber. And Bomber says, so what's my donation? It's about $48 million. Okay. I will donate $48 million or $50 million to your company. He never said, pay Kawhi this. He never said, Kawhi never even went to him and be like, hey, this is what they told me you were going to pay. No, it was just, what is my donation? My donation's $50 million. I donate $50 million to you. And if that is how it plays out, you can obviously, it's circumstantial, but in that respect, there is no paper trail.
And for what it's worth, I'm like 99% sure this all happened. Nobody's doubting the veracity of the report.
Right.
It's just, can you get them?
Right.
But what you said earlier,
sure they can get them.
What you said earlier, though, is interesting. Well, Adam Silver will rule on circumstantial evidence because there's a mountain of it. And Kenny's talking about like all of this stuff. Every like scenario avoids the hard evidence, like the paper trail. There's no agreement between Bomber, Ascension, and Kawhi. Mm-hmm. There's an agreement between Kawhi and Ascension, and that's it. There's a contract. There are very weird things written into the contract, but there is a contract. Yeah. But Steve Ballmer is nowhere attached to it other than that one part that says we can terminate this contract with cause if you no longer play for the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, that's not a direct, that's not Steve Ballmer directly, but that is a company that Steve Ballmer owns, and that's what the Los Angeles Clippers are. It's a company.
The part I'm wondering, there's probably an answer to this though, is can Ballmer like counter this? Can he sue? Will he? Does he want to? Do you want a lawyer fight Steve Ballmer?
So, but that's what, like, that goes back to what you and Casey were talking about earlier. Like, do you, if you're a Ballmer and you're like, oh, you're gonna throw the book at me? Oh, okay. So let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what Joe Tsai did.
Ramona, let me talk to you again.
Yeah, right. and I'm gonna need a little bit more than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But the other side of that is, or the flip side to that is, those are the people that have the ability to throw his ass out of the league. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there's a situation, any situation, no matter how much evidence Adam Silver gets, where Steve Ballmer is, they take the Clippers from Steve Ballmer. They do not want that. Right. And that's what we keep getting back to, Eddie, is the best way I think Adam Silver can handle this is to sit down with Steve Ballmer and say, here's the evidence. Here's what I'm thinking the ruling should be. But you and I have to work together on this. We have to come to a conclusion that's going to hurt. But let's do it together rather than individually, because I think they have that respect for Steve Ballmer. And again, I hate to keep pointing it out. He is rich like no one else. And that matters in this situation. They don't want to turn the team over. They don't want to sell the team. They don't want to go through this whole process again when you have a guy like Steve Ballmer in a franchise like the Los Angeles Clippers, in an arena like the Intuit Dome, in a market like Los Angeles.
Well, that's a perfect point, because there's not another Ballmer waiting to buy a team. There's not another equivalent of that. There are people who will line up and buy the Clippers, absolutely, and they will love playing in Inuit Dome and all of that. They just want to be part of the NBA. But there's not another Steve Ballmer, and you want him at your table, and you want everything, all of the resources he can bring to your league, whether overtly or just through relation. So yeah, he didn't do a Donald Sterling. We're not kicking him out the league for this. We're just saying, we have rules here. We're going to have to slap your wrists a little bit. Like, you're going to have to go pick a switch, buddy. but you don't got to go. You can stay here. We'll be cool after. Don't worry. And I don't know. I don't know how much Steve wants to fight. That's my question, too. Like, does he feel like he can just drag this for forever? But again, when Kawhi is done and when this team when they get past this era of this team, it's going to be barren in LA for some time. And we grew up with the really bad Clippers and then had some other pretty bad Clippers. And this will be like along those lines. But I think they'll be back sooner than later because Steve Ballmer did not buy this team and invest in the ways he has, legally or illegally and emotionally, to let this team just be bad for 5-6 years either. So
the other thing about it with Steve Ballmer from his POV is we talk about how rich he is and how much money he has, and none of this really affects him. I think he really loves owning the Clippers, and I think he'll protect that. Like I'm with you guys. I don't think there's a scenario in this case where they kick him out of the league, but I feel like if he was like scared and thought like he might not own the Clippers no more, he complied with whatever because he's got money. He's got money. He's 70-something. He got money. He's not preserving his money. This is what almost gives him life. Owning the Clippers, being a part of this group, and you want to make sure he doesn't mess that up. So to your scenario earlier, all right, Adam, let's sit down and talk just as long as I get to still be in this league. I don't want nothing to mess that up.
Yeah, I think he has an easy out too, because he wasn't over the top in that interview with Ramona Shelburne. Like, he could easily just say, we did everything we could. We did everything we could to operate within the rules of the collective bargaining agreement and everything set forth by the NBA. Adam Silver and the league has determined that we weren't unable to do that, and I accept the consequences. The buck stops with me. I made a mistake, and I have to accept the consequences. It's not an admission that he did anything wrong. It doesn't make him look like a liar in that conversation with Ramona Shelburne, and it's not a refutal to where you get into a fight with the league and the other owners. You're just able to take it. I'll bring a wrestling reference back. Remember when you might not have been watching, but you learn about it later. The farewell to the click thing happened at Madison Square Garden, where Razor and Diesel and Sean, the curtain call happens, and the only one who got their ass kicked for it was
Hunter.
And Hunter tells the story of, Vince McMahon says you're going to have to eat crap and like it. Like, that's just the way it's going to be. And for the next year, he gets his ass beat by Henry O'Godwin and Ahmed Johnson. That's essentially what Steve Ballmer is facing. He's about to get into a pig pen match with Henry O'Godwin. That's
that moment,
thing. Go look.
That moment gave us Stone Cold, man. So
it did. It gave us. It gave us all
something out of this.
Yeah,
might get something out of this, but it's a fascinating story, and it's funny because Pablo has been doing this for a while, and I know Pablo, and I talked to him a little bit, and I kept saying in the group chat, he's gonna get one of these guys. And I think he might have finally got something on the hook. He went big fish hunting. He finally got something. And great reporting by Pablo, man. It's fascinating to watch happen in real time.
Did a great